Gilgit-Baltistan and Pakistan-occupied Kashmir are defined by their rugged, isolated geography. For over a year, a coalition called the Joint Awami Action Committee, or JAC, mobilized across these valleys. This was a grassroots network of ordinary citizens, local traders, and students. The JAC presented the government with a 32-point charter. Their demands centered entirely on basic survival. They asked for affordable wheat, consistent electricity, and access to clean drinking water. The JAC movement remained focused on the immediate crisis of hunger and utility costs in a region that has faced decades of systemic neglect. In early June, security forces responded to these peaceful gatherings in Muzaffarabad and Ralakot with live ammunition. Unarmed crowds were fired upon as they fled. The casualty count climbed rapidly. Initial claims reported upward of 100 people dead. As the violence escalated, armed groups retaliated by storming local military hospitals, resulting in the deaths of multiple officers. The state reacted instantly to contain the fallout. They severed mobile and internet networks across the entire region and formally classified the JAAC civil coalition as a terrorist organization. To understand why a request for subsidized wheat triggered anti-terrorism laws, we have to look at who authorized the use of federal troops against the local population. The scale of this response suggests the military is protecting interests that go far beyond simple civil administration. The region is officially governed by the Azad Jammu and Kashmir, or AJK, Legislative Assembly. They have their own prime minister, a president, and local administrators. Before the mass violence broke out, this AJK government had actually negotiated with the protesters. They accepted 35 of the JAAC's 38 demands, including a substantial reduction in the monthly price of wheat. This creates an immediate contradiction. If the official political leadership agreed to the economic relief, there was no reason for the streets to fill with gunfire. The civilian government does not dictate security policy. They are a paper tiger, completely unable to stop the shadow authority that holds the actual monopoly on absolute power in the territory. The decision to use lethal force reflects the region's status as a resource hub. Its entire economic structure is built on extraction. This map illustrates the financial dynamic. Massive hydroelectric projects generate power and revenue within the occupied territory, but those resources flow directly outward, feeding the grids of the Punjab province and Islamabad. While the energy leaves the region, the local population faces 18-hour power cuts. Tax revenue is siphoned away, leaving the area without basic infrastructure, functioning hospitals, or adequate schools. This economic dominance extends to everyday services. Even the primary cellular and telecommunications networks operating in the region are directly owned by the Pakistani armed forces. Giving in to demands for local resources threatens the military's monopoly over the region's wealth. Suppressing these protests is a calculated financial defense. The architects of this violence are the Pakistani military leadership, operating under the command of General Asim Munir. This playbook for control begins with Step 1, economic deprivation, keeping the population marginalized. When citizens push back, Step 2 bypasses negotiations, classifying organizers as terrorists. Finally, Step 3 deploys 14,000 federal security forces with live ammunition, alongside a total communications blackout. The civilian deaths in Muzaffarabad and Rawalakot were not an accident. They are the calculated output of a highly repeatable military blueprint used specifically to eliminate any democratic challenge. But the military's strategy of a total information blackout failed. Footage leaked past the blockades, bringing the region's crisis under the gaze of international media and foreign governments. Both the United States and Canada swiftly issued severe travel warnings for the region, explicitly citing the serious security concerns and the extreme measures taken by the government. In the United Kingdom, the diaspora organized massive demonstrations. Dozens of members of parliament drafted official letters condemning the human rights abuses, pulling the issue directly into the floor of international diplomacy. The reliance on brute force has publicly stripped away the administration's claim to local legitimacy. The global community is now watching a shadow dictatorship operate in broad daylight. The massacres have changed the nature of the dissent. The earlier focus on economic reform has given way to an open defiance toward the state. Protesters have moved beyond demands for wheat and are now openly labeling the Pakistani military as an occupying force. Grieving, a growing faction of locals looks across the line of control, vocalizing a desire to dissolve the border and reunify with India. The armed forces maintain tactical superiority and control the heavy weaponry along the checkpoints, but they are now facing a civilian population that has entirely lost its fear. The violence in the region signals a breakdown in military governance. While they maintain control through weaponry, the allegiance of the civilian population has been severed.